Here's sort of a, a way in which I'm going to let go of something that's been held in memory, right? Burn it off, and it's sort of I have to remember. I'm going to go back to when I was 4 years of age again and do this. I love the blue calm waters of the Pacific, blue skies, blue water. Wow! If you trace the history of Pacific, means peaceful, right? The calm waters. Now we're back in the water worlds. The water worlds are peaceful, right? And the reason that the water worlds are peaceful is because they were born out of what love is. It began with love. And from love, which is that fire, purifies that light, which means we're experiencing that fire that is in that light, which is an enormous amount of love that a mother and father have for their children. Okay? That means the water worlds, when the water worlds are in balance between mama and papa and mama joined as one, then the waters are naturally calm. So that's a different world. Just like the stuff you can buy at the Island Naturals called Calm, Magnesium, Mag, Ma, G. You know, the Mason symbols with the G and a compass. So it's when I was a child, what gave birth to you? Fire did. Well, you must have a lot of love in your heart. That's the point. That's the energy that we use to heal the cosmos with. Whenever we're experiencing anything less than what love is, that's what we are. So it began with what love is. And I don't budge on that. Love comes first. End of story. That vibration is on fire. Because you dare not do no harm to yourself in your own mirror, right? What I do to you, I do to me. If I'm upsetting your water worlds and they're not in a state of peace, chances are that my water worlds are not going to be at peace because now I'm going to experience your water worlds being out of a state of peace. And the difference is that I love you because I'm in love with my mirror. It began with what love is. Okay. So I knew as a child, don't ever let anybody tell you different. Ever. Then it becomes a war of words on which came first. Love came first. Because that's what I experience in my heart and my soul, led by my spirit. Okay? That's right. Love is a law. That's the law of one. So this is where I realized throughout my whole life, you got to let go of it all. Just let go of it all. It's okay. Heal it. Heal it. Heal it. Heal it. Heal it all. I want to heal it all with all the love that you have in your heart that goes on forever. Healing everything, baby. Mama's a healer. The breath of living spirit is a breath of love that we have for life because that's the energy that we use to celebrate it with. We celebrate living spirit that is on fire and that light with what love is. Love is what we celebrate because love is energy. I know. That's why I don't impose my will on nobody, but I've been putting little birdies in the ear, pass it throughout all the neurons, let all the spirits know that are in the energy to communicate, hey, we're going to heal everyone. We're going to heal everyone as the vibration goes up. Everybody's going to experience more light. And as the vibration goes up, people are going to experience less resistance to experience more love and show more love to others. native home worlds, right? It's funny how I experience the resistance in this mirror having a relationship with a dead magnet, a deadline magnet. Okay, the torque speed differential, right, between what it is capable of experiencing in energy, with that much spirit of fire in it, right? And it simply does not have the capacity to experience that much energy and number crunch that many algorithms, right? I know. So it really is to know one from the other magnet. Fractures. Operating on the mental field, right? Operating on the heart and the soul. The soul and the spirit. The spirit that is in that fire, that is in that light, will purify our light, purify our spirit, and purify the fire that is burning off anything that is holding us captive, that prevents us all from being free spirits. Free, living spirits. I remember the lady. I believe she was an actress. She was there. She ran the talk show Circuit 10. Bless your heart, girl. Because she made a statement on her little icon, and I can't remember her name. She was a child actor back in the early '60s. It wasn't the Barrymore family, although they have a long history. But she was sort of associated with that, and she popped up on a Twitter meme, and she said, "You can't clone a spirit." Start a campfire. Experience the spirit in the fire. Right? I mentioned to my clan mother, hey, you know, I can't speak for her, but I can only tell you what I would do, which is what I've been trying to do. Get all the natives, talk to all the clan mothers, talk to all the native chiefs, get them out to celebrate life with love, with Mother Earth and living spirit. Now, what they choose to do, that's just a mother and a father throwing a suggestion out, right? But then again, if you do it, then you're going to say, hey, I followed the order. No, it's not an order. Okay? It's like, remember the old suggestion box? Right? It's sort of like knowing that, do I know what the result of that would be? Yes, actually I do. You want to bring all the living spirit out? Do we know how to do that? Yes, we do know how to do that. I know how to do that because I was a drummer right out of my mama's gate. Right? Circle of drums, circle of light. You know, I threw, you know, the little suggestion box. Here's a suggestion. It's like a little birdie. You know, like a fly on the wall, observing everything that's going on. Hey, here's a suggestion. Plant a little seed in somebody's head. Right? In other words, we're all communicating with each other. But what anybody ever decides to do amongst all the units of energy that are conscious and aware of what it is that they are through somebody else and all the others that are communicating that you could thus become aware of with your antenna, they're like suggestive, like thought forms. Ooh, this thought form came into my head. Bye. That's not what love is. That's not what love is. So we celebrate life with love, right? In spirit. Okay, so I know through observation, if that's true, then that's what I'll observe. I'm observing all the others celebrating life in living spirit with love. Right? So this is why when I'm translating the field, when I'm a kid, what do you think I'm measuring? I'm measuring spirit. Spirit in the energy. You know, I can remember, for example, when I was in Laguna Beach. This was back during the heyday of the CIA on Bluebird Canyon Road in Laguna. You know, the big art festival is always famous there because they're very pretty beaches, very artistically impressive. And there was a place there called the Mystic Arts, which was known as a head shop back in the early 60s. They eventually burned that place down for obvious reasons. But nevertheless, there was a name. Remember, labels and names. We like to put things on record with nice little names, significant part numbers. Name this little part so we can keep track of it with a number and put it in a computer. Okay? Even though it began with spirit, it's in the energy, which is what love is. And so there was a name given to a group called the Brotherhood of Love. And with a big poster, I used to have it. Right? So you understand in the war of deception that they'll wear their hair long, they'll try and talk like us, but you can read the energy. I know that. I'll just give you an example of how you can map read the operator of the vehicle. There was a number of us that had marijuana, peyote, mostly psychedelics, plant medicine, right? And so they were after me and another young teenager in high school. So they were planning our Orange County narcotics detectives in our classrooms. Okay? That you wouldn't necessarily think they're not other high school students, but they're not. They're working undercover. Okay? And so this is where they get you both ways. See, they're after energy, and energy is numbers, and money is energy, which means money is numbers. So in other words, they bring the drugs in here after they traumatize the crap out of everybody, generation after generation after generation after generation, to harvest energy, right? So they get you coming both ways so that you're burning a candle at both ends. You know what burning a candle at both ends is, right? East, west, north, south. Burn your wick out. Because they already know you're going to be looking for escape hatch. Okay? An altered state. Because you realize you're living in a loony bin. This is not sane. You're living in a death cult. Right? There isn't any love around here. Are you kidding? So now it becomes like a game of survival. It's navigating through the field of consciousness. God, is there anywhere I can go where my space isn't being molested? Pay the man. They want your energy. Man, I landed in a vampiric energy zone. That's right. It's exactly what it is. It's all about control. Okay? They don't want your energy to be free because they're not free. That's right. They're not free. Their own mind's energy is not free. Okay? That's why they built. That's why everything that represents everything's put in a cage. All the picket fences, everything's got a leash around it. Okay? You see that played out in pet stores. Harvesting of animals to eat beef. Okay? Which means everything that's alive and living in nature becomes a source of energy from which to harvest. So they harvest planetary resources and then process it and regurgitate it back out as a recycle bin. That's right. So here I am one day when a friend of mine, okay, because there used to be a standard back then. If you smoke dope with this guy, you can trust him. That's not true either. Okay? Okay? You may think so. Because he met some kid in school, in his classroom, now they become buddies. And he didn't know this guy's an undercover narcotic agency. Because he figured through you, they get me. Remember, my buddy, I turned him on to the connection to Owsley White Lightning through University Berkeley. So you see how this all comes full circle. Right? In other words, the same people that I'm getting this stuff from is the gatekeepers, which is the law enforcement, are going, it's like, how can they not figure this out? I'll tell you somebody who got it figured out. He was a detective, a sergeant working for LAPD. I can't remember his last name. His first name was Michael. Apparently the word I got was that he committed suicide. I don't believe that. It's possible, but I don't believe that. But he wrote a book called Crossing the Rubicon. He was the guy that came out in front of what's his name, Deutsch, head of the CIA, with that lady who was a congressman down in Compton, had everything to do with setting up all the crack and all the stuff that was coming through, right, as a distribution center in South Central Los Angeles. What's her name, Waters? Yeah. Don't get me started on that story. But he came right out in that room. Michael, I can't remember his last name. But anyway, he wasn't, he's fearless. This is a non-duty detective working for LAPD. And who do you think the LAPD works for? LAPD is nothing more than camp guards. If you go into any county jail, this is where the terminology, they used to be known as bulls, right? They walk the catwalks. You're in a cage, right? They're the catwalks. So those were known as bulls. Those are security guards that wear badges with guns, right? Okay, that's your local law enforcement. Okay, so if you think of the planet as a prison, a POW camp, they're the least common denominator. They're the lowest on the totem pole. They're the gatekeepers of Westgate, Underworld. Yep. So, they rely on a paycheck, just like everybody else relies on a paycheck, right? Electrons, money is energy. How are you going to change all of that out? You can tell everybody that works for a corporation that's related to a company, to a military system, and all the cops and everybody else, guess what? Everybody go home. Because all of you have been working for criminals because they own everything on the planet. Wow. All your monarch corporations, the ACIO, the whole shebang. They're all in cahoots. I get your mail, you get my mail. Yeah. Why would you ever need an intelligence organization? Tracking everything that's coming in and out. That's born out of fear, isn't it? That's not born out of love. That's right. Because it means that what you're holding in memory is that there's some need to use your energy to build something to protect your own butt. A surveillance system. Because there might be something out there that might harm me and molest my energy. Now we're back to the law of one, aren't we? So what does a cosmic level reset experience like? Experiencing what love is. Now you're free. See, if I'm having to use my energy to keep you under surveillance, then I'm not free to create anything, am I? Okay? So love is the answer. That means they got the right answer. That's right. They got the right answer. And so what happened that day in that garage was when Mike came up to me and said, "Hey, Robert, listen, you got some pot on you, right?" "Yeah, I do. I have some out in Robert's car." "Okay, well, listen, I'm going to get two. How many lids you got left?" They were called lids back then, which back then was 5 fingers and a baggie. Before that, marijuana was being sold in what was called a 1 pound can. 1 pound